Good day, everyone. Rimber here. Have a bit of a unboxing and reaction for you. This is the Cameo Bible, of course, King James Version. The cameos always are. Cambridge Cameo Centenary Edition. This is the 100th anniversary of the Cameo Bible, which happens to be my favorite Bible setting. Right. Nice two-piece box. Pretty sturdy. This isn't a review, so I'm not going to read everything, go over everything, but still a very nice box. Cameo Bible marking the 100-year anniversary of this typesetting and this particular edition of the Cambridge King James. Okay. Oh, we have a nice booklet. Cameo Bible 1925 to 2025, Cambridge University Press. Looks like it gives a little bit of a history of the Cameo. 100 years of Cameo. And you can see some pictures of some different editions right here throughout the years, different style bindings. But what you'll notice in all of these photos, there isn't one with a full yap. That means that the leather hangs over the side of the Bible so much that it can actually encompass the text block. You'll see that none of the Bibles in the book, the history of the Cameo, have that. Now, actually, if you're in the know, there has been some very, very special editions that have had it, but not in any mainline production run, as far as I'm aware of. Anyway, all right. Okay. Some nice, very nice paper on it. It's kind of got this, see with the box and the paper, it's kind of got this Art Deco style, which is fitting because it's hearkening back to 1925 when the original Cambridge Cameo came out. A sticker. Very nice paper. All right. Now, so what we should notice right away, this is a calfskin edition. Let's see if it's really full yap. Will it? Certainly on the corner it would count. I don't know. I'm really hard pressed to get it to touch on the side. I mean, yeah, barely if I really try. So technically a full yap. I myself like partial yap where it sticks about halfway over. Doesn't need to close all the way, but so this is pretty close. I'm pretty happy with it. Now you'll see that this is stamped on the side. Most cameos, they'll have gold on the side, gilded. So this is stamped, Holy Bible, King James Version. And of course we have the royal crest here, which is very fitting, because King James himself, King James was the 6th of Scotland, but the 1st of England. And so he became king of a united kingdom. Of course, he gave us the Bible that takes his namesake, originally called the Authorized Version, but most people know it based on the man who authorized it, meaning commissioned it in this case, King James. All right. Now, this is an aniline calfskin. So what that means is it's not treated on the top like you typically see with leather. It's vegetable tan throughout. So this color will go throughout the leather, even if you were to cut it, it's permeated throughout the leather. But the fact that it's not topically treated, it can pick up stains. It can patina over time. But you know what? That's a good thing. If you like a Bible, it starts to feel more like you. You used it in a certain way and it took on certain colors based on how you used it. So that's very nice. Okay, we have a red calfskin leather liner. Okay, I can already see a complaint. I'll get to it in a minute. Okay, very nice, very smooth. This leather is very smooth. You'd have to feel it. These hubs, by the way, are pressed in. They're not actually sticking out to any noticeable degree. Very nice, very smooth. Yep, this is, very nice. It actually says Centenary printing in it. I like that. So we at least have a note that the text block itself is specially prepared for this. May not be much, but I like that it's not just a Cameo shoved into a different sleeve. We get a notation that it's the special edition, the 100th anniversary edition. If you know Cameo layout, so center column references. And you know what? Okay, here's an idea of the red letter. It's a very nice burgundy deep red. So you may not prefer red letter in your Bible, which is perfectly fine, but even if you don't like it, this is quite tolerable, and really just the color difference I think is visually appealing. This looks like it uses the Indo-Paque paper, and that makes sense. It was printed by Royal Youngblood in the Netherlands. Indo-Paque uses, it's kind of like a titanium pigment in the paper, so you can have a fairly thin paper, but it can still be fairly opaque. Now, they say India style paper for this edition. Original India paper actually had pieces of rags in it, very fine rag fibers, and that is a really strong paper I wish they would use again. But this Indo-Paque paper is quite nice. Fairly brief concordance, just from the length you can see. Your typical Cambridge Bible maps, very nice. All right, let's just give you an idea of the size if you're not familiar with Cameo. I'm not going to do measurements or anything like this. Here's my hand, okay? I am 5'9", so I have fairly average hand size for an American man. All right, here it is relative to the spine. It's about an inch, maybe a bit over. All right, let's compare it to another Cameo I have here. This is a goat skin leather Cameo. Now it looks smaller, but that's because this is a full yap. Remember, it's sticking out over the edges. This barely does. It sticks out just a bit of protection, not much protection. This one also has a calfskin liner, but most Cameos, even the goat skin, have a polyurethane. This happens to be a somewhat special edition too, with the green leather. So these are actually the same size Bible if you don't count the overhang. In fact, you'll see this tool line right here, and that demonstrates its real size. Everything else is just leather hanging over, but protects the book block. Okay, all right. Well, I now see the 3 color ribbons on the green, so let's see what color ribbons we have. Okay, we have got a brown ribbon. Basically gold colored, and an even yellowish gold colored. All right, so these aren't exactly Beresford ribbons. These are your typical Cambridge ribbons, but they're quite serviceable. They're still nice. All right, I want to show you a comparison to a very similar Bible. This is the Schuyler PSQ. This happens to be the NKJV version. It's also an aniline leather. And guess what the leather lining looks like? Wow, pretty similar, right? Okay, the edges, this actually has raised hubs on this Schuyler. The Cambridge does not, so that's just might be a taste thing. Then again, you want a King James that's the classic Cameo setting. You don't really have a choice. This is the best option, I think, that you could possibly get in the Cameo. All right. Now, here's my problem with the Cameo. This edition of the Cameo. You will see the lining here. Let's look at the Schuyler up close. Do you see that? This is the leather on the corners folded and then sewn on, okay? Now you'll notice the corner here. It's not as thick, first of all. See if you can look at that real closely. Get a look at another corner. What they've done is that they've cut the leather and then right around the corners, instead of having to fold it together where it would be bunched up, they've cut it and then glued it to try to make it look more uniform. Oh, it's especially noticeable right here. Okay. And I have to say, this is a bit of a sign of laziness in leather book binding. Look, I don't bind leather books. I know it's difficult. I respect people who do, but I recognize quality when I see it, and the Schuyler is, by comparison, far superior. And you'll notice it has this gold lining, which, if you like that, so be it. It's not hardly a deal breaker for me. I slightly prefer it. Okay, that being said, this is the best Cameo I have. I think it's the best Cameo you can get, and I happen to think the Cameo is the best edition of the King James Bible. It's easy to carry, but it's not like a Pitt Mini, and it's still got some size to it. It's portable, got size. It's about 8-point font, very readable, sewn binding. I don't see you going wrong with this whatsoever. Even if you like the King James just a little bit, like the authorized version just a bit, I would recommend it. Now, retail, this is $350. I did get it for about $221. So look around, try to get a deal. And this Bible, the Scholar, is cheaper. You can get it at evangelicalbible.com. So I'll just give them a little bit of free advertising, but they deserve it. However, if you like the Cameo, that classic Cambridge Cameo Bible, one of the most influential Bibles in the modern age, then this is the best edition of it. And you know what? It's a little bit pricey. I do think it's ultimately worth it to have a Cameo in this special leather with a full yap. So again, very nice. All right, that should just about do it. I hope you enjoyed. Please, go in peace.